Hi Kai, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thanks very much for the question with regards to your Logik heat pump tumble dryer and the drum not turning. Now firstly, you sent me an email in with regards to the fault you have, and I'm going to read it for other people so they understand the problem that you have and it may relate to their problem as well. You've got a Logik tumble dryer LHP8W18 heat pump tumble dryer, does not spin when turned on. In other words, you're saying it's not rotating. This happens. Right, okay. You're telling me that you're able to manually roll the drum and the machine starts, but it only lasts a few minutes before it goes into the other rotation and stops as well. Right, firstly, these Logik tumble dryers can be made by many different manufacturers. Logik is Curry's own brand, and Curry's turns round to companies like Beko, Daewoo, Vestel. So the tumble dryer itself could be made by any one of those companies and other companies as well. The model number that you gave us, which was LHP8W18, is incomplete. And according to my technical guy, he says there's over 100 different variations using that model number. So you will need to go to the link on the web page that I created for you and enter your full model number in to be able to obtain parts. Now, heat pump tumble dryers I am not a fan of because the heat pump technology is great for manufacturers greenwashing their brands and everything else, but at the end of the day, they are efficient when you first buy them, but over the period of time that they're lasting, and a lot of engineers will tell you this, heat pump tumble dryers do not last more than 3 to 5 years before problems occur, usually because the condensing systems block. But your machine is not turning. Now this could be, if it's an early model of machine, it may be just a simple thing like the capacitor on the motor that has become weak, and when you're pushing the drum, you are acting as if you were assisting the motor to start, the same as the capacitor would do if it was working correctly. If the capacitor has failed or become weak, it is unable to initially start the drum, and therefore this is the reason why it's not rotating. So if you have an early model, you will be able just to replace the capacitor. Now I can't tell you which capacitor to replace because I haven't got the full model info. But written on the side of the capacitor, you will see a UF number. Now that UF number stands for how many microfarad the capacitor is, and then you'll be able to buy one to the same value, or if you've got your full model number, you will also be able to use that to identify the capacitor you need. But on the later Logik tumble dryers, manufacturers have gone crazy. They are now producing a motor with the capacitor built into the motor. So you can't replace the capacitor anymore. You have to replace the whole motor. And this is not a cheap item. This could be an item between £100 and £150, £200 in price. This sometimes makes it uneconomical for you to repair the machine. This is just a prime example of manufacturers building in obsolescence to machines. I know I rant and rave about this on so many videos I do on my channel, but it just really needs to, for general public to be made aware of what manufacturers are up to today. They are only trying to get you to have the machine for a period of time before you have to buy new. And what they're doing is using their brand names or their manufacturing name and buying up all the brands. So when you go into a superstore again and you say, I'm not buying Logik, I'm going to buy Beko, you're actually buying the same machine with a different facial panel and everything else. It is an absolute disgrace. So what I'm doing for you is I'm putting all this information on a web page for you. This web page will have links to the machine parts that you need. If it is a capacitor, as I said, you will need to replace it with the same value. and make sure you take a photograph of the actual wiring that goes onto the capacitor so you replace it correctly. If it does need a new motor, then you're in a bit of a dilemma whether it is economic for you to repair, and that's your decision and your decision only. I'm not a great fan of heat pump tumble dryers, and I wouldn't, when you consider a heat pump tumble dryer could be £300 to £500 in price, and you can get a vented tumble dryer for less than 200. If you have the capability of having a vented dryer, I would always have a vented dryer or a condenser dryer. But that depends on your circumstances and where you have the appliance in your house. Most importantly, with heat pump tumble dryers, it is very, very important to keep the filter system 100% clean on every time you use the machine. If you end up with fluff building up in the heat pump tumble dryers on the condenser and evaporator plates, which are down the bottom here, then you will have it will become inefficient, and the machine will take twice as long to dry the clothes as it would do if it was clean and working efficiently. Heat pump tumble dryers take twice as long to dry the clothes as a vented dryer, but it's using less energy over that period of time because it doesn't have a heating system. All it has is a refrigeration pump inside the actual unit, and this transfers the gas through an evaporator and a condenser, which either heats the air up and one side condenses the moist air into liquid, and then it's pumped into the collection tray at the top. Anyway, all the relevant information I will put on the page, link in the description. Have a very good Christmas. I hope this article helps you, and the link to any spare parts are on the page for you. Thanks very much indeed for contacting us, and if you need further help, feel free to use the Contact Us page on the website. Thanks for contacting us.